Hey, hey! What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to our another episode of Take 5 at 5. We are super excited today to have another speaker here to share with us a very interesting topic. He is none other than Chong Beng, the CEO and founder of Treehouse Learning. He is the He was the VP of and Assistant General Manager on Organization Development and Change Management in many corporate companies, and he himself has homeschooled his children, 12 and 13 years old, and they are all amazing children. And today we have Chong Beng to share with us another interesting topic on how can people development stay relevant, as well as how people development can have a new adaptation. Right. So before we go into the topic, we would like to share with you some of the interesting pictures taken at the home yard of Chong Beng. As you can see, he has a tree house. Interestingly, tree house. He conduct his training programs right in his tree house, as you can see from the picture. And later on, we'll be able to get Chong Beng to share with us what are the techniques and methods that he used to bring up his children, as well as how can this be also be incorporated in corporate trainings. So, Mr. Chong, welcome to the show.
Okay, hi, Houston. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for the generous introduction also. Right, good to see you. Thanks for organizing this Take 5 at 5. Of course, at the back is Jack, doing the technical. Thank you, Jack. You guys are doing amazing job, especially at this time of MCO. The goodness needs to arise, and you have been doing a lot of good work. Keep up with your good job.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In fact, I have learned a lot throughout the journey of hosting Take 5 at 5. In fact, I am very, very excited, in fact, to want to launch a book, after compiling all the contents from all our guest speakers. So I feel like I'm very benefited, from the interview sessions. I hope for those of you who are viewing also, you are also benefited from all the interviews that we shared with you, right? And we also hope that you can also use those learnings to apply it in your real life, right? And today, our topic is people development. Mr. Chong, so I would like to ask you, right, when it comes to people development, as a trainer myself, I usually define people development in terms of as training. So is that the only way of people development?
Okay. Thank you, Houston, for the question. Okay, 20 over years ago, when I first started my journey into the corporate world, I was working as a training manager. Okay, a training manager. So we churn out a lot of training program. I was super enthusiastic, writing a lot of training program, inviting a lot of speakers to come to train the people. Because at that point of time, the mindset was training, training, and training. So I have a toolbox, but inside my toolbox, there is only one tool. Guess what? Training. So to us, training is a be all and end all at that point of time. But at that point of time, it's okay because that's what the requirements. People say, oh, turn out training. My staff need this training. We turn out training for you. My staff needs this training. I'll find a corporate, public program and put staff inside. So this is how I started my journey as a training manager. But as I go on, as I progress in life, the title changed. They call it training and development manager. Some of the organization I work at, learning and development manager. So I learned My toolbox need to expand because the expectation is even more.
Mm.
And a lot of times we have been challenged. How come you send the flow of training? No change in behavior.
Mm.
Many times we've been challenged. Why spend so much money on training and there's no change in behavior? Okay? So to
Right.
them, probably in their mind, they thought training is a magic pill. We can cure all whatever sickness or ailments. Then I
Yep.
also learned. In order to I mean, the demands is there. So I expanded my knowledge. Okay? So I just don't talk about training. I talk about development.
All
And
right.
training is just one of the tools of development. Important tool, yes. I'm not downplaying, which is not. I'm not saying training is not important. Training is important, but it's one of the tools. Actually, there are many tools. If you analyze, you look at it, and you look at the demand, training this has its own benefit. But there are other tools that sometimes you need to use. For example, you're given a toolbox. Inside, you want to do woodworking. What are things are inside the toolbox? We have a saw, we have a hammer,
Yep.
a screwdriver. So different tools, you can use it for different purposes.
All
For
right.
example,
So this is interesting,
yes,
Mr. Chong.
I have
In fact, before we proceed into the slides, I would just want to say hi to our viewers here before we go into these very interesting topics about what are different tools that we can use for people development. So, Sengbi, hi Sengbi, thank you for tuning in. Huat Chai, thank you for tuning in. TK Chan, thank you for tuning in. Catherine, Mui Han, Ben Hoy, Choi Wan Wong, hi. CJ. Okay, so thank you for tuning in to our show. In fact, we are very happy that you guys are following us so far. So we are in the topic of people development. So Chong Beng, the CEO of Treehouse Learning, just shared with us that training is just one tool, one of the tools that can use for people development. Yeah, so we like to actually add on or rather see from what are the areas of people development that we can still continue to use besides training.
yes. If you look at the slide, I have really put a few areas of development. It's not exhaustive. There are more than that, but it'll give you a clear idea if you allow me to explain that. Sometimes development it means giving your staff, the employee, a broader experience in life. Sometimes it might need training, it might not need training, or it might need something else. Okay, increasing the leadership capability. You want to let your staff have more business acumen, business savviness, technical capability. This is the term that people are always looking for, technical capability. If you really look at the other thing is increased exposure. Okay, you want to have a growth mindset or adaptability, agility. You want your staff to have to develop in these areas. So these are some of the areas that you can think of to develop your staff. Okay, and some of it training might be a good tool. Sometimes training might not be needed. Okay, but let me just redefine what is development, because I think quite a number of people, when I ask what do you want? You want training program? I asked the manager, why development? They said development. Or sometimes they tell us, how come no training program? My staff cannot improve because there is no training program. That's what they used to tell some of us. Okay. Let me just define what is development. Employee development is just like a process of working with the employee to improve, enhance, refine, and also hone the existing skill. That is one big part of it. The second part of it is also to develop newer skills. in support of the organization mission and goals. So two parts to it. One is improve the existing skills. Second part is to improve newer skills that is needed. Right? So in the final points of development, it's not about turning out training programs. Number one, not about turning out training programs. Number two, it's not just implementing mandatory training programs. Sometimes when you join a company, certain things, oh, this is a core course, a mandatory course you need to attend. It's not like that. The third thing is it goes beyond the employee annual discussing about employee annual shortcomings and improvement needs.
Okay.
So I hope I give you a clear understanding what development is, and there's so many parts of development. So
all right. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So we just like to get our audience to ask questions. If you have any questions so far, please feel free to actually ask your questions in the text box. There are some comments here from CJ that's saying bosses always ask, what's the ROI after sending staff for training? So, I think as a trainer myself, I often get this question also, after I spend so much money in the team building program, few 100,000, how do you guarantee results? Are they going to work together as a team? They are more committed. They are able to communicate well. So I think these are very key important questions. So
very, very good question, CJ. Very good question. Because this is $1 million question. A lot of people will ask, after training, what is my ROI? Okay. Sometimes, yes, you can measure certain change of behavior. Okay, change of behavior. But the thing is, through my corporate experience, there are some companies who are more keen. Some company are not so keen because there is work after that now. After attending training, you have to work with the line manager. They need to do some assessment. They need to do some feedback. It's much more work now. So sometimes some people started, they say, gung ho, ROI. Correct. In the corporate world, everything is they want to see the returns. So, but after really going into it, 3 months after that, they do assessment, then feedback from the line manager. Then after that, some of them complain, what? Why so much work, one? For one training, there's so much work. Okay? So sometimes it needs to have a balancing, and sometimes the ROI is easier for certain courses like sales courses. Okay? Right? So what I will do is, after that, the next slides afterwards, I will share with you what are the staff development model. Maybe you can get some ideas from there. I think it would be good. Okay, be good to look into it, because I think like I saw a comment by Tan Hot Chai. He said, most managers
think training can solve all problems in the company, and training managers are their saviors.
Correct. Yeah. That was part of my feeling. It was very stressful. You do your best, and you start realizing it's more than just training. Even training alone, there must be follow-up.
Yep.
Okay, because you notice, even when you do training, you need to give them the opportunity to practice the training. That's why I have cases like that. We send them for training, then after that, during a training program when I conduct, my boss need to come for training, not me. Say they don't have alignment when they send the staff for training.
All right. So to just recap what you just said, magic pills, right? So training is not a magic pills for getting results from organization. It also involves many areas and aspects, of the person as well as the whole organization by itself. How the organization should be also actively involved, in ensuring the trainings are implemented in the organization. Right. So now we are into the topic about people development, right? How should we adapt? No. So is not right now when we talk about the pandemic, there are so training programs are not allowed to be also executed right now. So most of us has resolved to do virtual training and stuff like that. So is online learning effective, or is there any other ways besides people development?
Actually, there are a lot of ways. It's that we need to find out the ways. We need to do research. Sometimes we need some creativity in terms of employee development. Okay, because sometimes when your mind, your tool, see, for example, if your toolbox, you only have a hammer, what do?
You just knock all the way.
Not all the way. Any problem or any crisis, you just knock. Okay. Sometimes you must have more tools. So, okay, what I'm going to do next is I'm giving you some ideas of what other tools you can use for development. And you look at the tools, probably then it give you a better idea. Okay. What are some of the development tools? If you can go to the next staff
I'm
development
excited
model.
to find out what are the tools I can use.
Yes. Okay. On your right, that is the formal. That is most people, they say be all and end all. Their mind is limited to formal training. Okay, that means classes, workshops, seminars, and now during this pandemic lockdown, a lot of classes will be cancelled. Classes are cancelled, and in future, because of social distancing, probably some of these classes might not run. You need big group gathering is not allowed. So there will be a lot of challenges for trainers, for training managers, if they have this kind of mindset that training needs to be formal training. Do you agree? Things like team building like that, especially outdoor team building. You notice a lot. I mean, you cannot run. It's just like I before the lockdown, I have 7 training programs. It's already booked already. They are willing to pay already. But because of this lockdown, they cannot run it. And even after this lockdown has been over, I think if they release, they still have to have the social distancing. So there will be a challenge there already. So later, I will share with you how do you transform yourself? How do you adapt yourself to the new norm? Okay, so let's look at formal training, which is the easiest. We have been doing for many years. We are still doing it right now. The next one, which is social training. Okay, formal means learning and developing through structured courses. Social is learning and developing through other people. Things like coaching, mentoring, 360 degrees feedback, external involvement. For example, this person is in the accounts fraternity, he can join one of the society in accounting and contribute. You learn from there. Discussing with colleagues, right? Formal and informal debrief and assessment. You can use some assessment tool here, right? So this is called social learning. That means you learn through other people. Okay, which some of the people are also doing now. More companies are more aware already. They are going to coaching. They are going to mentoring. Actually, just to tell you, at one time, when we were doing a coaching program, that was way back, more than 10 years back, when coaching at the time was just beginning in Malaysia, becoming more popular. They were high-level people. We give them corporate coach. When we say, hey, we arrange a coach for you, you know what's the first reaction? Did I do something wrong?
Okay.
They say, no. Say, hey, we are trying to build you. You are very important to us. That's why you are chosen type. You're the chosen person to be developed. That's why we specially hire the coach for you. See, that was the mindset at that time. Now I think.
Yes, Mr. Chong, I just want to pause you for a while so that we can answer some questions here in the comments area. So we have questions from Buxton. It's asking, I'm just wondering if the framework for development is suitable for all levels of the organization, or is it only good for middle level and junior staff?
I would say it's all level is different percentage of experiential, social, and formal. Okay, it can be implemented throughout the organization. Okay, for example, maybe for lower level and higher level, the percentage of experiential and formal might differ. Okay,
I see.
Okay, let me just explain here. Then probably we talk about the percentage.
Okay, so there's a second question from Ben Hoy asking, people development are heavily supported by the government with HRDF schemes. but how can we convince our senior management to invest more in training programs when the marketplace is dynamic and Gen Y always job hopping?
Oh, okay. Very good question, Ben. The thing is, we have to prove that training is effective. We have to show. If not, most of them will be thinking, I'm spending a lot of money, and there is no improvement. We have to take training as, we take it as development. Just don't talk about training. Training is usually an event. Okay, development is a process. Okay, you need to put a lot of things into place. So sometimes our mind is so honed into events. Attend this training. Good. But when you come back, can we put it in practice? Can we give you the opportunity to practice it?
Okay, so what Sai is asking, instead of ROI, will it be better to call it return on capability, ROC? There will be a better way to measure than dollar and cents.
Correct. In fact, a lot of companies tried to measure ROI, but unfortunately, they did not go there. Wanted intention is good, but very hard to measure the dollars and cents because there are so many variables. Okay, so you got a very good point with ROC. Okay.
All right. So when it comes to training, for me, I'm an experiential learning trainer. As a team builder, we use a lot of experiential learning. We create immersive experience for customers. Like, for example, we dress up as an Egyptian pharaoh. So when we ask participants to build pyramids, so we immerse them in experiential learning so that they really learn and treat the customer like a boss, because at the end, pharaoh is also like a boss, right? So as a king. So I want to ask, right, just now you shared like there are 3 types of learning: formal, and then there's social as experiential. So for me, I will always support experiential learning is the best way of learning right now, because I think experience is the best teacher. So how do we balance? Because at the end of the day, I can also see that, all schools are very formal, education institutions like universities or school, they are still very towards formal learning. Now, is there a formula that we can adopt? How to balance experiential, social, and formal together?
Hilson, when you talk about your experiential learning, it still falls into the formal learning, right? But you use a lot of experiential technique inside. Okay, you use a lot of experiential technique. It's still considered formal learning. Okay, it's still considered an event. Usually a formal learning. Okay, but like trainers like you are very creative, because years ago is lecturing quite boring. Then trainer needs to reinvent themselves. They put a lot of experiential activities, games inside, but it's still considered a formal learning when they attend a course. Okay, over here experiential. Over here, let me just jump into it. Is learn and develop through experience. That means on the job application activities. On the job training application activities, stretch assignment. That means you stretch that person, the assignment you stretch. The assignment is like that, you stretch it. So when you stretch it, it's just like a rubber band. You now go back to its former self when you stretch it long enough. So this is where people develop, people learn, people grow. Job expansion. You expand the person's job. Okay. The next one is also very important. Through my career, I noticed executive visibility. What can you do? Sometimes you bring them for senior management meeting, or let them present the part, or ask them to do the PowerPoint slide and bring them into the meeting. So to build up their confidence, you bring them to sometimes to see your major client or something. You bring them along, okay? So they see how you do it and see how you interact, okay? Then you can ask some questions. These are all experiential. Okay, the next job swap. Okay, maybe from for example, you are in this department, you go to the next department for a few months, then you go to the next department. So you have a broader sense of what's happening in the other department. Okay, when you make decision, it'll be a better decision, because if you just go into one department like that, you tend to look at it from your department point of view. So when you go to other departments, you know how the process flow. Okay, so these are what you call experiential, social, and formal. There are a lot of things inside you can do, right?
All right.
So for example,
So,
after formal training, you can go into social. That means after formal training, you have a coaching session, follow up, or something. It's a mix
okay.
and match, blended learning sometimes.
Yeah, so the keyword here is blended. So you must be able to mix and match depending on the situation as well as the culture of the organization, as well as the budgets that you have now. So at the end of the day, sometimes it also goes back to the budget of the organization.
Yeah.
If they have more budget, they can do more things. If not, then you can depend on creativity.
Yes, correct. Houston, when I explain this one, I know it goes in a lot of people's mind. Probably.
How much?
What is the ratio? Just some back ask, is it? Is it for all level?
Yes.
Experiential, social, and formal. What is the ratio? Okay. Okay. According to the creator of this model, the originator of this model, it was created at Center of Creative Leadership, Morgan McCall. Okay, but this has gone through a lot of changes already, so it's not so much original per se. But the original model, this is what he said: 70, 20, 10. 70 experiential, 20 social, 10 formal.
I see. Okay. 70, 20, 10.
That is what they suggested. Okay, my point of view. Okay, my point of view based on my experience. I say this is a guide only. This is the guide only. Okay, it varies from industry to industry. It varies from organization to organization. It varies from situation to situation, and it varies from position to position, and it varies from culture of different company to culture of different company. But this thing, one thing I can tell you, experiential learning for development, I would say experiential learning should be more than social, and social learning should be more than formal. That is my guide.
I see. So there's a question here from Niwen asking, what about self-directed learning? Most staff may not use to take ownership of their own learning without external intervention, right? So I think this is also very interesting looking at the current situation where people are working from home and all that, and more organizations are using e-learning. So those are all very self-directed, or rather you have to take your own initiative to learn. So what is your comment about that?
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. In fact, if you have a learning culture in an organization and everybody take learning as their own initiative, I think that's wonderful. Honestly, in fact, sometimes I notice through my experience, very few self-directed learners. Probably they do not have the understanding that they always like people to spoon feed them. That's what I noticed. If you can have self-directed learning, you'll go very far in your life. It's actually the culture. It's the culture. After that, I will deal a bit about the culture. See, the culture plays such an important part.
Okay, so that also leads us to the next question that I want to ask. In fact, TK Chan has also helped me to ask that question already. So he's asking, is there such a thing as called untrainable staff? Maybe to reframe the question is like, how do we bring out the best of an individual? When it comes to training, so how can we bring out the best? Whether people is trainable or not trainable, but the question here is how can we bring out the best?
Actually, there are a few ways to bring out the best, but sometimes these people, because of their thinking, they think, why should I attend this training? Okay, or because they are being forced to attend this training. Many factors. So sometimes training is not just send your staff for the training. The line manager must explain why I'm sending you for this training, how it will benefit you. Okay, to minimize all this resistance. So in you see in training programs when we run, You see, the earlier part, the first part is very important. We like to break the ice. Because we are strangers and everything. So we spend an hour sometimes or so just breaking the ice to create the trust. Okay, sometimes without trust, there won't be learning. They take it as, you talk only. The word is talk only. Okay? So you need to create the trust. You need to create the rapport. But of course, they are too egoistic. They say, I know already. So there's actually nothing much we can do if they have that. Unless we talk to them during tea time or lunchtime. Is there anything you want to bring out? I notice you are not being participative. All those kind of things. So the one we need to handle separately, or else they'll disrupt the whole session.
Yeah. So true enough, I think in my course of work as well, there are also people who are quite reluctant to actually attend the program. Some are attending the program saying that, you're taking away my weekends, during a team building programs, this is my special time with my kids and my family together. But why are you sending me for this type of team building program? So at the end of the day, it also depends on the skill of the trainer to be able to handle rejection like that. So thank you very much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the show. We are almost at the end of the show already. So thank you, Mr. Chong, for being with us today.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your wisdoms, on people development. We hope that the audience will love your session, because I think I benefited a lot from the session itself. How do we look at different ways of people development, and do not depend on one magic pill, training as the magic pill to solve all the problem, or rather to change a person. Because at the end of the day, I personally believe people are affected by the environment, the experience, as well as the education, right? So training is not the magic pill, but it is a very effective tool. And what are the areas of improvement and development that we can use, be it the experiential learning, formal learning, or social learning, right? So thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much, Mr. Chong, for being with us here today. I hope that one day I can go to that treehouse.
Sure. Welcome.
Yes, and conducting building around that treehouse will be very interesting.
Right.
All right, so tomorrow we have another episode by our guest speaker, Min Yit, The Power of Mindfulness, the Start of Change. Yes, so Jack Tan will be the host tomorrow. So tune in at 5 o'clock, same time, take 5 at 5. So I would like to sign off. Thank you, Jack, working at the background to help us in terms of the technical support. And thank you, all of you, for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode tomorrow. So let's give our audience a high five.